There is a section which you may have come across in the Regional Committee Handbook, Section 7, Makeup and Health. Let's look at some of the ways that the committee is made up and some indicators on how healthy your region is. One correctional institution means one regional committee, or put the other way around, the regional committee has only one correctional institution. Of course, this paragraph in the handbook is for KI and torch only. A separate regional committee must be formed for each institution which has or which begins an active Kairos ministry. For instance, because Wellington and Macquarie Correctional Centres in New South Wales are adjacent, you may think that one committee could deal with both. That's not the case. For the health of the ministry in that area, we will need 2 regional committees. Challenging, but necessary. We've looked at the need for new volunteers so that there can be a constant turnover throughout the ministry all the time. We need an ever-changing body of volunteers so that we have enough for leadership track. That's a topic we'll look at another time. Enough for the State Council to function well, and enough so that our ageing volunteers can be confident they have done well and can now take a break and pray for the ministry or contribute in some other way. Growth in our volunteer numbers is vital because if we don't grow, we go backwards. A healthy region is made up of a balanced group of people. A regional committee needs to look at where all the volunteers and committee are from, denominationally, and from which Fourth Day movement they come, if indeed there is more than one. There is a KPMA policy which is called Interdenominational Christian Ministry Policy Statement. Have you looked at it? Have you thought about which denominations are missing from your committee and teams? That's a very helpful exercise. It will give you a first base on forming a recruitment and promotion plan. One of the weaknesses of a regional committee over time is when people become entrenched in leadership. The ministry grows stronger when there are new people to take on new roles in the community. Don't fool yourself into thinking that if you're not there to do it, the ministry won't survive. Sometimes we must act in faith and stand down before someone else will put their hand up. To counter this tendency in some of our regions, KPMA has instituted the limited term rule. This rule states that a regional committee member serves a maximum of 6 years in any 9-year period. This includes any time on an ad hoc committee and on a committee conducting only continuing ministry. A term of a committee member begins at an AGM where he or she is elected and ends at the AGM unless a person stands down or is otherwise removed. Going along with this is the rule that states that no one may serve in the same executive role for more than 3 years without a break from that role. Executive members are the chair, the secretary, the treasurer, the state council rep, and the recruitment coordinator. Check out the detailed roles in section 11 for more on that. Can I encourage you to begin the process of keeping track of the year when your committee members began so that you can be prepared for when they must stand down? In your committee meetings, have you assessed how many new volunteers are brought in for each program? Are you aiming for 1/3 new volunteers, 1/3 participants, and 1/3 experienced? New volunteers must be brought onto team with love and given meaningful roles and tasks. Remember that before we did our first weekend or short course, none of us had a front row seat to the miracles in Kairos. Now to the topic of key health indicators. It's a great exercise for a committee to take a step back from the day-to-day operations to consider how healthy it is. Have you looked at how old your committee members are? What about the team? And churches, where do they come from? How long have they been on team or on the committee? If you do this, you will identify some gaps which you would then enter into your recruitment plan. For example, if you have 4 Anglicans, 3 Uniting Church people, 2 Baptists and a Lutheran, you would know that you need to try and do some promotion in the Roman Catholic or Orthodox churches and the Churches of Christ, for instance, among others. Hey, this is the beginning of your recruitment plan. Well done. Have you considered whether team members have been on for more than the 3 on 1 off rule says they can? Are you beginning to work to rectify this? Good turnover means a healthy ministry in your area. How many guests come back to participate in your continuing ministry? How many come back for team? Does this need some discussion at your next committee meeting? Another aspect of your region's health is asking yourself, what sort of support do you get from the wider local community, your local churches, and your local Fourth Day movements? Where else can you look? Consider service organisations and clubs. Have your members done a presentation at their home groups? It all counts towards growth. Where are your finances coming from? Are you just relying on the team contributions to fund your ministry? You know it is the heart of the board that we all work towards fundraising all the costs necessary to run our programs so that our volunteers can contribute only if they feel led by God to do so. And we eliminate the expectation that people should pay dearly for the privilege of serving. It is a big ask to expect pensioners to find hundreds of dollars in team fees. How can you work towards rectifying that? Constant promotion is necessary to ensure the health of the ministry in your region. Constantly look for opportunities to tell your Kairos story and recruit new volunteers. You can contact me for help with this if you like. There's a promotions tab in the members area of the website. Identify the storytellers among you to make the best promotions in churches and other organisations. Heartfelt passion and not necessary professionalism is a key to connecting with people's hearts. You don't have to be a gifted speaker to speak about the ministry with compassion. Always pray before you speak. This is for you, God, and it's not about me. Always witness to the power of the Holy Spirit's work in the program. By doing so, we are faithfully fulfilling our commission to make the needs of the ministry known, so that the Holy Spirit can bring forth financial and volunteer support for the growth of the ministry. Another key health indicator is this: is your committee committed to abiding by Kairos methods, its policies and procedures, the manuals, this regional committee handbook? You have signed an affiliation agreement to say you will. Have you searched your heart with humility to check that we have an attitude of compliance and submission within your committee and team to the authority that Kairos has over the operation of the ministry in your area? KPMA has chosen not to put out a regimented list of key health indicators for you to tick off or otherwise. Rather, the ministry is confident that your committee will identify those areas that need work and where growth is necessary. But in doing so, don't forget to celebrate all the hard work and passion you and your teams have contributed. You are saving lives, strengthening families, and moving our course participants and weekend guests and team further along on their search for a relationship with Jesus. And for that, I, for one, am very grateful. I hope that helps you grow. Till next time.